What's going on, everybody? It's Jamie.
And John.
And welcome to the A to Z Reseller podcast. How's it going this week, John?
Yeah, not bad, man. It's I'm starting to see sales start ticking up a little bit. The activity's starting to happen again. So on the reselling front, things are looking in a positive direction. And of course, the weekly update on the softball is that we are still a losing team, but we got a perfect record. We are now 0-30. But no, we're having fun. It's been fun since I moved to the outfield. I've been doing a lot more running around, so I'm very, very tired this week. But hey, sales are rolling in, so that's making me feel better.
Yeah, that's always nice. I know I had a really good month in my antique booth last month, so that was nice. And ending the month and kind of seeing how that went. eBay sales, Poshmark sales have been pretty mediocre. But they haven't been bad or anything. I just would like them to be picking back up a little bit more. But yeah, overall, I think things are pretty good. I think we're still headed in the right direction regardless. I don't see it as doom and gloom right now. I do see us kind of coming into a better sales month, especially with back to school. And then after back to school, hopefully Christmas and Q4 all picks up and all that good stuff as well. I did also just finish today the roof on my shed. I don't know if you've seen the Instagram video. I just posted it right before we started, so you probably didn't see it.
Okay, no, I didn't have a chance.
Was just a little short clip, but I mean that feels so good. Like my next thought now is just figuring out shelving and laying things out, and then actually transporting all of this junk out there. So
you'll have a room again.
Yeah, then I'll have this room again to probably just do podcasts. I'll probably use it to edit videos. I might still take pictures in my kitchen because I like that floor when I do flat lays, but then I can actually like a list from this room and it'll be like an office. Pretty excited about that. Also, I guess we're going to have a guest this week. A buddy here, Matt Cart. Matt used to be, he's got a YouTube channel. We'll link all that stuff down below. He used to be from Toronto, Ontario, and he moved, I bet you it's been almost about a year ago now, or at least maybe over a year. He moved out to Calgary, but he's going to join us. He's currently just at the Goodwill bins, and I think he's going to step out and take a phone call here with us. So we're going to add him in the chat. So hopefully it goes well. It's cell phone technology and LTE. So, it might not be the best quality ever, but we'll do our best to have a conversation and hopefully see how that goes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, having a chat with Matt and having him on here to get his perspective on things, ask a couple questions, whatever, even if it's not the best quality in the world, it'll still be a fun time and a good chat.
At some point during this call.
Okay.
He's got some of the others. I'll show you what I grabbed. So I got this. It's like a blank crewneck 90s jerseys on a dead tag, made in USA. It's got some stains on it that I got to oxy out. I grabbed another single stitch shirt here. Have you ever seen the crazy shirts of the Hawaii brand?
Yeah.
These before? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like back and front print. Not horrible. I mean, you're paying bins prices. It's not bad. I got like a nice pair of Dickies as well. Kind of workers brand ones. And then another weird one that I actually got from a buddy. Someone just gave him this, and I was like, I'll buy it off you, dude. Just a gigantic long box full of Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so I bought it off him for $50. I don't really know what's in there, but I have another channel called Matt Caster Mage, which is like my main YouTube channel where it's got like around 30,000 subscribers. So like this is like content for me. So I'm like, that's content. So I'll use that for sure. I'm sure I'm going to get my value back, probably even more, but really cool. That was probably the find of the day, and I didn't even find it. Someone literally just walked up to this guy and was like, "Here, do you want this?" And I was like, "Why didn't you give it to me?" God damn it, I had to spend $50 for it because I saw someone grab it. But
yeah, I love that at the bins. Once you start to kind of know each other a little bit, and what
people start giving stuff. Yeah.
I've had good experiences with that. I've had other people who maybe I don't know why they don't have that same experience. Maybe they aren't willing to give, but
yeah. I mean, some people are a little more like greedy or selfish than others. Like normally I wouldn't even give $50 for like a blind box of cards, but he's given me some games before in the past. Like when we were about to leave, he just handed me a few Xbox games that he grabbed from his haul today. And it was like like one of them was like $35 and we sold it like within a day. So I was happy about that. I've given him stuff too, but I think the reason why he was even approached with this box of cards is because he normally goes for hockey cards. I think the person who gave it to him didn't really know what the hell Magic the Gathering is. So even he didn't really know who the guy who received it, but yeah. So anyway, it's a good contact. He told me if he ever finds any more Magic cards in the wild, like he doesn't really want to do all the work to figure out what's what.
Yeah.
We can make a little quick transaction as well. Helps me out, helps him out. So not bad.
That's pretty cool. See, I got none of that around here. You know, I'm in rural Nova Scotia. There's no Goodwill anywhere close to me, so it's just funny to me. Like, I see you guys, and I see other content creators are just like, yeah, you know, we're networking. We know the guys at the bins, and I'm like, I wish I had a bins, but actually, but the flip side of that is that, you know, I've got a local chain, and I do most of clothing, and I've got a local chain here in Nova Scotia, and they're in Brunswick as well. And like, I've gotten to know some of the workers now who are like, hey, before you leave, you're going to want this Carhartt union made like heavy duty jacket that I've got in the back here, you know, that you're going to pay $10 for and sell for 130. I'm like, yes, I would like that. So that, you know, I don't know if they're really supposed to do that, but
I've never built any connections like that necessarily. But I do know there is people, like from what I've been told, there is some stores that you're like, as a reseller, you know not to go there because that's like this guy's store where they already have hookups in the back. It's like, that's why it's dog shit. Because there's like nothing there. I find because it's curious to me. So Nova Scotia, are you in Halifax?
No, I'm like 2.5 hours west of Halifax.
Rural. Okay,
Yeah,
so
like
rural.
super rural, like, you know, without giving my exact location, I'm
no, come on, dox yourself. It's okay.
yeah, for sure. I completely dox myself. Yeah, I'm at I'm at like Valley West. So like, you know, the Annapolis Valley, I'm like on the west end of that. So, you know, like halfway between, say, you know, Windsor and Yarmouth, for anybody who knows either of those places and knows what that means. Yeah.
Okay. So you're pretty rural. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm curious to know how good the thrift stores there are on average, because for me in Calgary, thrift stores here are horrible in my opinion. I don't know if it's just my particular area that I'm in. I might have to venture out a lot further, but I find the thrift stores in Toronto were 1,000 times better. Like I'd find much better scores there. Calgary does have like when it comes to resellers, it's wild. I don't know if it's because of the economy. Yeah, like Calgary, there's so many resellers here because I think it's a boom and bust economy. I think a lot of times when the economy's down, a lot of them just pick up reselling. And then during the pandemic, it even had more of a boom here. So every time you go to a store, you just see nothing but Gen Zs going through the t-shirts and jeans, looking for all the jorts, grabbing everything. Like there's like 15 of them in one aisle for the t-shirts. And then you go to like the video game section, it's all picked through, it's all gone. And it's like that with every thrift store I've been here in Calgary. It's the competition's wild. The amount of people you see using Google Lens and stuff. You're just like walking in a random aisle. You're like, holy shit. It wasn't like that in Toronto. There was always, I'd find like Lego mini bags just filled with Lego minifigures that you would never see here. It's just like entire bag at Valley Village for like $5.
Wow.
And you would never see that here. They would have that behind the counter, if anything.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to video games, there's one particular chain I found, but it's only this one store that actually has video games that they'll price all at the same price. They don't like separate anything else to put behind a counter. They're all $3 each. And it's a place called Wins. It's the one near my house. Every once in a while you go there and you find like great PlayStation 1 games for like $3, GameCube games for $3, but it's very rare. And every time I go there, I don't know if the secret's out. Every time I go there, literally just walking into the store, if there's someone walking in front of me, I'm like, oh, where are they going? Oh, they're going to the exact place I was going to, the video game section. So it's literally, you have to be like waiting there, sitting on like one of their couches and wait for the person to come out and then like jump them for like any games or media. The competition is just wild here. Wow. So that's why I just go to the bins. I don't even go to garage sales. Garage sales in Calgary here, you're going to have to go to like 40 houses before we find like one good one. And I just call it eBay on a driveway at this point.
Yeah.
Calgary.
Yeah, I would say that yard sales and stuff have definitely gotten that way here as well. And some of the thrift stores also, like, you know, they say, hey, this sells for $150 online, so our price is $50. And then
Yeah.
I show them, no, that's not how it works. You're just looking at an active listing. If you actually look at what things sell for, it's worth 20
there's
bucks.
so much risk too on eBay that a lot of them don't account for, and it drives me nuts because they think it's easy. And you can tell it's a lot of newer resellers too, because they think it's easier than it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Calgary has a lot of recent Ukrainians that moved here from the war. Like all of them basically came to Calgary. All of them were like, Toronto? No. Vancouver? No, we're going to Calgary. They all came here, and there's so many resellers who come to the good old bins here, like 17-year-olds who are Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Who get very aggressive. I've been elbowed accidentally in the face a few times. Like they go insane. Like it's wild here.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I went to the bins in Edmonton. It wasn't like that at all. It's more aggressive here. I can watch videos in the States and it's super calm compared to the bins here. I wonder what it's like in London. We're even debating moving to London if the housing market actually softens a bit in Ontario.
Yeah, it's not bad in London, but the problem with so you get a lot of video games in your bins. They pick all that stuff out. Oh, I thought you did just on some of your videos. I see you pull some.
Like, it's very hit or miss. They do, but I think the reason why your stuff might be a little more picked at the bins is because they're the Goodwill auction sites in London, Ontario.
Yeah,
we don't have that in Calgary. Yeah, Calgary doesn't have that. Yeah.
So even jerseys, the only jerseys that you see go through the bins until later, and like if they've been through auction, they put these weird little tags on them, and you know that they've already went through the auction and no one bought them, and it's usually good stuff. Other than that, it's pretty battered. Yeah, but the bins are pretty good. I mean, there's always cheap stuff, but it gets pretty aggressive too. I like to go earlier in the morning because there's less people.
Right. That's what I do. I just literally I try to stay for 2-3 hours tops, sometimes even only an hour. And then once it starts getting busier throughout the day, usually, I mean, it's all random, but I find the stuff that I want, like the crates, they'll bring them out more in the beginning of the day. And then later it just starts turning to rummage bins and clothing. And I don't have too much luck with clothing here. I found a few decent items here and there, but nothing crazy. I mean, well, I don't know. You might have to wait and see for a video coming up for some good scores.
Yeah.
There is like some decent stuff that I'll get, but I'm mostly looking for jerseys now. Vintage shirts, I barely see any of them at the good old bins here. There's a really strong vintage market. Really strong vintage market here. And maybe a lot of that stuff gets picked up before it even gets to the bins, and there's sellers on the inside. I don't know. This is just theorizing. But I rarely ever see vintage shirts, like good ones, at the bins compared to any of the stuff in the States. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of the reselling channels in the States, once it goes to the bins. It's almost like every day they just get all these crazy vintage shirts. I'm like, how the hell are they getting all these shirts? Even just one Looney Tunes shirt will do for me if I ever find that. But
yeah, we see quite a few of those in London, actually. Like I seen somebody actually bought it from him later, all over print as Looney Tunes shirt. It was a Toronto Blue Jays one, actually, but
nice. I had a Looney Tunes Blue Jays vintage tie from like the '92 World Series.
Yeah, those are cool.
That one did pretty well, but I mean, it was just a tie, so it's not like I went for crazy money. But that was kind of my coolest find. The thrift stores around here are kind of like hit or miss, but luckily. So Matt, you said you kind of steer away from clothing a little bit. I kind of, when I moved here 3 years ago, had to really change my focus from an area that I lived that I did a lot of video games. Then I had to kind of switch to clothing because that's what was really abundant around here. Because the main chain of stores is a mostly clothing store with a price list, kind of like a Goodwill, but there's no bins or anything. But they get all their inventory like fresh in from the New England area, like just regularly. So nothing is in the store any longer than 4 weeks, right? It's always new stuff, which is really nice. But yeah, like sometimes when I'm in there, you know, I'm going down the aisles and stuff, and it's not really like that people are aggressive. I think it's just because it's just like a used clothing store that, you know, there's just some lady who's trying to get to the XL shirts, and I'm going up the aisle and she just cuts in front of me, and I'm just like, you know, what the hell, lady? You know, people are more oblivious because they're not necessarily, I don't think, really in there for reselling purposes. They're just in to try to get something for themselves, right? I'm in there trying to get like, hey, I want that. I'm going up this aisle, get the hell out of my way. But, you know, she's just parked there talking to her husband, you know, just having a casual conversation. He's like, I don't even want to be here. This is the women's clothing section. And I'm just like, look, I'm just trying to get that dress, you know, and then I get the odd looks. But
Yeah. How have your sales been, Matt? Have you found it a little slow this summer, or are you pretty steady?
Pretty slow. I mean, I've had 8 sales on eBay in the last 3 days. And then like 2 on Poshmark. So like for a part-time seller, it's not horrible. But overall it's been slow. Like I'm expecting things to pick up a lot like once September ends.
Yeah.
Usually, like the Green Day song.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
yeah,
I think John's in the same boat. He's doing this part-time. He's got a full-time gig as well. But I would say even me trying to put in full-time hours, it's pretty mediocre right now. I don't think sales are great for anybody unless you've got stuff that's just fast sell through.
Oh, no. Even the stuff that I have, like I have a lot of video games and that stuff isn't moving like the way it would before. And I think the winter time, you know, a lot more people are inside the house, like trying to stay warm, and they might game a lot more, right? Or they try to focus on building their collection. And I think that's when a lot of those sales for collectibles will like start to pop off. I mean, the summertime is good for like, you know, maybe snapbacks, nice shirts, like t-shirts and stuff. Those will maybe sell at a decent rate. But I feel like when it comes to video game, anything that's going to keep you home will sell more in the winter, I feel like.
yeah. And I've definitely seen that kind of stuff go down quite a bit in the
Even
summertime.
jerseys.
Like my best
Jerseys
months
because,
for video games are actually January and February.
Oh yeah.
Because people are like, this sucks. I'm not going outside. Let's buy all this stuff. And like, so February, like, even though, you know, it's Q1, like my Q1 is usually better than Q4 because that's when I tend to sell a lot more higher ticket items. I don't do the volume, but I do some more higher ticket items like, you know, video game stuff, consoles and lots and stuff.
I think you're probably right. I'd like to go into my data now and kind of like peruse it and see if that is the proper anecdote. Because I think you are right. Especially in Canada, it's so cold in January, February. You'd think people would be inside a lot more. So I think that really does make sense. Even jerseys, because all sports, for the most part, are back. You know, you got NBA, NFL, hockey. So jerseys will sell better, I feel like, during like October to April, May, maybe.
Yeah.
Are you guys stocking up for Q4? Have you been trying to purposely list things that are meant in that quarter?
I mean, not really. We're just been listing more volume than ever before because we know that we're going to get less sales during the summer. So you might as well just focus a lot on listing, and we'll kind of assess it as we go. Me and my wife, when I say we, not just me. I'm not like a Venom or anything. Eddie Brock. Yeah. But it's good. I find the eBay's been a lot better for us. I know you guys use Poshmark a lot.
Yeah.
Is that your main, or is that for what do you guys do mostly? I know you cross list, but
yeah.
For me personally, where I do mostly clothing, I mean, I put everything on eBay and Poshmark. I would say dollar wise, I do make more on eBay because I'm getting all those US sales as well. And I don't use Poshmark US because I'm not close to like a cross-border shipping opportunity. So I only use Poshmark Canada. So because of that, I would say that, you know, eBay probably does outperform Poshmark 2-1. But given the fact that we only have 40 million people in Canada and 400 million people in the US, so like the Poshmark Canada platform is quite limited in comparison. Given those metrics, I would say the Poshmark really, really outperforms eBay. It just doesn't have the same user base here for me in Canada. But
I would say I've always thought eBay first, and then everything else is secondary. I'd say Poshmark in the last couple of years really has impressed me with how much I can sell on it, and I wish I could sell more because it's so much easier. But my first selling platform is always going to be eBay, I think, because it's consistent. It always pays me, and it's very simple to figure out if something's going to sell or not.
Oh yeah, eBay is for me my bread and butter. Poshmark's been super slow, but I don't do Poshmark US, just Poshmark Canada. And a lot of the times, because it takes so long sometimes to get paid for your items, I'll have like credit sitting there, and sometimes I'll just use the credit instead of cashing out just to buy like something interesting on Poshmark.
Oh yeah, we've all made that mistake before. It's not even it's a mistake, but it's just like, oh, this is basically free, but it's not.
It's a trap.
It's not
It's
free.
crap.
Yeah. That's probably where a lot of the sales go, because most of the people on Poshmark, they're other sellers, right? There's not a ton of accounts unless they're bots that are just an account there to buy or whatever. But that's what I find. Sorry, that's my wife right there. She just started the car. We're gonna be driving back home now.
All right, cool.
Else? No. Yeah, we got a bunch of Matchbox cars today as well from like the 80s and 70s. So we've sold some of them before in the past, though they're not super fast sellers because the clientele is almost dead at this point. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can be really good though. I know my one buddy's got a whole bunch. He's just been listing on eBay. Like, depends what they are, but you're still looking at sometimes 60, 70, 80 bucks for some of these things, right?
Oh yeah. Especially the trucks, the ones with the 4-wheel trucks with the what are those ones? The containers at the back. I don't know the term for trucking for that, but those ones are really, really good for the most part.
Yeah.
But then we got some other stuff I'd like to show you guys, but I don't know if I have enough. Yeah, but there's another bag back there full of stuff that we just grabbed. Some interesting stuff. It wasn't a very good day. I actually wasn't even really filming today. This is kind of an impromptu trip to the bins. But yeah, one of the videos that's coming out soon was insane. I still can't believe that the day actually happened. Some of the stuff that we ended up having. Yeah.
That's something you're editing now for your channel?
Yeah, it's already edited, that video, but it was like an $800 day, I'd say, almost at the bins, which is like rarely ever happens. You know, getting like $800 worth of stuff, spending like $20. That's when you have days like that. That's what keeps you hooked at the bins. But not every day is like that. But it's just one of those random occurrences that every once in a while you'll get a day that's just blows your mind. And you're like, I gotta keep going. You gotta wake up and just be the first there at the bins. And it's always a disappointment the next day that you have a crazy good score. It's always that way. It's always a bad day the next day.
For sure. What happened there, John? I seen your video off there.
So I'm an idiot. I know that this will happen, and I didn't prepare for it. I think I just got a little bit off track there. No, we had a different person here, and I got wrapped up in the conversation. But so I have Microsoft Teams on my phone because that is a method I use to communicate with people in my day job. And if I'm going to do anything like this, because I work from home, I'm using my phone. But if I don't put it on Do Not Disturb and a Teams call pops through on my phone, it completely just blocks me out of StreamYard and just like, even when it goes away, I don't end up coming back into the video. It just completely kicks me. So I had to rejoin and put myself on Do Not Disturb.
No problem. Yeah, I thought maybe your phone died or something.
No. I mean, it is an iPhone, so it is likely that it will die. No, it's plugged in right now, actually. But no, I don't know. These are the perils of working from home and using a company phone to do your podcast and forgetting to put it on the Do Not Disturb.
What did you have an actual particular sale of the week this week, Matt?
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot after. I think the best sale of the week was a vintage Sailor Moon doll that we picked up at the Goodwill Bins probably like 6 months ago. Based on weight, we probably spent under $1 for it. And it sold for $60 on eBay. It's one of the older ones. Not in box. It was in box to be like almost $200. But it's pretty crazy that some of these older anime figures will sell for that much on eBay.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Especially, I love pulling stuff like that out of the bins too, because your buy cost is so minimal. If it's going to sell fast, that's fine. But there's so much room there to let somebody make an offer, right?
Even if it's not like a fast sell-through rate, sometimes if the item is worth it in the long run to hold on to just to sell it later down the road, the buy cost is so low you can't really go wrong. But also that logic does turn you into a hoarder, so maybe you can at some point go wrong.
Yeah. How about you, John? Something in particular?
Yeah. So actually, it's funny because before my whole disconnection thing, I was opening up my phone because I noticed that I got an offer on Poshmark from a bundle deal that someone did kind of a little bit lowball me on last night, and I had countered. But it leads me to a little bit of a segue, so I'll talk about that as well, just real quick. So one of the things I've been doing to boost sales while it's been slow is making sure that I'm using Posh Sidekick to like set up and schedule out live shows, like silent shows on Poshmark.
Yeah.
Just so that I can be running, get some eyes on the closet while I'm working or playing softball or whatever it is. And someone actually bought 3 items from my show last night, which was cool. And then that same person must have been like going to buy a bunch of other things, but the show actually ended. So they ended up liking them and putting them in a bundle as well. And so I woke up this morning to another bundle offer of like 8 more items for about $100. I was like, well, that's a little bit low. So I countered. But anyway, we landed on $140 for these items. So between this and the items they bought last night, they ended up buying something like 10 items from me for like $185 or something. So yeah, I can't really complain. I would say that's my sale of the week. I haven't had that successful of a live show yet, so that was cool.
Yeah, I haven't had any success with live shows. I just find that they do get eyes on your closet, and at least they equate in sales after the fact. Yeah, that's the one thing about Poshmark is it's nice that people can purposely bundle things together and buy them, where you don't seem to get that on eBay so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I had a pair of really
to get
simple.
a lower cost. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a pair of UGG boots. They're just picked them up at the bins. They're a men's UGG boot with a fur lining, but they weren't the typical. Almost looked like a hiking boot, so it wasn't like your typical UGG boot.
Okay.
I accepted, I think, a best offer of $50. I had them listed for $70. Because I picked them up at the bins, $50 sounded fine to me. They probably would have sold for more money a little bit closer to winter, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I had a lot of like $20, $25, $30 sales this week. Nothing really super good. So every once in a while, I'll take an offer like that on something if there isn't the same amount of sales as what you hope.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, I guess I'm probably in a different boat for you guys than you guys, because you guys have jobs with incomes and whatever, and me, I'm relying on whatever I can make. So sometimes I seem to accept offers sometimes that are a little bit lower once in a while, just because I am relying on that money a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got a certain amount you kind of need to make, to pay the bills and stuff. So that makes sense. And I'm sure that, like, if I ever did decide to go full time with it, I would probably have a really hard time with that. I'd probably be like, damn, I need money. Like,
Yeah.
I need to let this go because, so I'm sure it is quite a balancing act.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, Matt, that potentially you might be moving again. What would drive you back towards Ontario?
Well, affordable housing would be the number one thing. Well, that's actually got me out here in Calgary. But also just knowing that there's a bins there. It's not super far away from everything else that I grew up with. I also have a good friend who lives in London, Ontario. So if I ever had to choose a place in Ontario, if I ever had to move again, it would probably be there.
Yeah. What's
But
a typical?
Not like 100% guaranteed or anything like that.
Yeah. What's a typical? What's housing like out there?
It's like just blasting on the windshield.
Oh yeah, you're getting really bad weather.
Yeah. So I might have to cut this short because I can barely hear you guys talking because the pattering of the rain on the windows is brutal.
That's cool, man. Thanks so much, eh? We'll talk soon.
Yeah, we'll do it again soon.
For sure. Later, bud.
Sounds good. All right, good chatting with you, Matt.
Once again, thanks, Matt, for joining us. As a pretty decent conversation. Obviously, cell phone issues. It's easier just to cut the call than to deal with a little bit of breakup. But it's awesome that he could join us for a little bit. But this is a good opportunity for us to talk about your booth sales a little bit. I know you got in there for the second weekend, right? How'd it go?
Yeah, I was in for the second weekend, which ended up being a bit of a bust. We didn't make a whole lot, but it was a really stormy weekend. I mean, we had thunder and lightning both days, Saturday and Sunday. So this weren't a lot of people out. I mean, technically that first weekend I made like way more than enough to cover my entire booth cost for the 5 weeks I booked it. So, I mean, everything was profit anyway. doing the math, I only needed to make like $14 a day to break even. And I mean, I at least did that in a little bit over this last weekend, but yeah, it was pretty slow. But I mean, it was weather related. Like it was some pretty intense storms, and the thunder at one point was shaking the booth so bad, like because it's in an old church, so it was shaking the building so bad that I actually took a couple things down off the shelf just to be like, okay, that just in case that breakable decides to move another 6 inches.
Yeah, it's weird because I know you're still on an ocean, right? So like the Atlantic. Here we never have, like, if a hurricane comes through here, by the time it ever hits here, it's a very weak tropical storm. To us, it's a terrible storm. Crazy. But you guys get tail ends of hurricanes out there, so you're,
I mean, we've been hit, in recent years pretty hard with some category 1 and 2s, and had the eye pass over us, and I mean, we get some legit storms out here. There's one coming up this weekend, the one that's run through the US right now, that we really don't know where it's going to go. I'm hoping it kind of tails off and heads more inland. It looks like that's how it's going to track. But I've got another softball tournament this weekend, and the last one we played in torrential downpour, playing softball just stupid rain, and I really don't want to do that again. I mean, I will if I have to, but yeah, I mean, the storms get pretty intense out here. I was actually surprised, though, even with this thunder and lightning storm, even though the wind wasn't high, there was enough heavy rain. Like, it was coming down so hard at one point that I'm surprised the power didn't go out, because we actually do lose the power during heavy rainfall here sometimes. I guess maybe the infrastructure just can't handle it. I don't know, but yeah, luckily we didn't.
That's good. Yeah, where I live in particular, the hydro goes out way too often. And then we are not a priority. So it usually is out for like 6 or 7 hours. So we've always had like a generator for a backup and that type of thing. It's needed if you want to sustain some sort of normal life, because it happens a lot.
Yeah. And it sounds like your kitty didn't like the idea of needing to use the generator. Was that your kitty in the background crying all about it?
Yeah, I was like, I thought, that wasn't too bad. Probably didn't hear anything. And you're like, I think you heard that. Yeah, he's over there.
I also have a cat. I got a pretty good ear for it, so maybe not everybody picked up on that. But I heard it. I was like, wait, no, that's not mine.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about. He's a crybaby anyway, but he likes to sit in the stairwell, which is just right beside me here. And it must echo or something. And I don't know if he thinks somebody's crying back at him. I don't know. Cats.
Yeah, cats, man, they're great.
Yeah, they are great. I love cats, and my wife's been on me. Her sisters had multiple kittens because they live on a farm too, and she wants to bring another one home, and I'm like so not ready for a kitten right now. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about cats, is, and I'll try not to take this off the rails too far, but like, I mean, we can look back thousands of years and we've always just adored them because, I mean, with dogs, don't get me wrong, I love dogs, but dogs are here to serve you. That's their whole mentality, is like, hey, human man, how can I make you happy? And cats are just like, you will take care of me and you will love it, even when I break your stuff or scratch you or do anything. Yeah. Because I'm a cat and I will do what I want and you will love me for it. And I just think that level of confidence is something to be acknowledged. Like, I just love them for that.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm still not really over our last cat that passed away. Now he's going to cry some more for us. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure at some point we'll get more cats if we need to.
If we need to, yeah. Ours right now, here, while you do that, I'll tell a little story. Ours right now is almost 19 and a half and is, still doing really good. She's still pretty much a kitten. Still looks like a kitten anyway. And, goes to the vet every 3 months or so to get a little shot for steroids just for a skin condition. But otherwise, I mean, she's still in really good shape. So we're hoping, she'll kick it around for a little while. But again, at almost 19 and a half, obviously we need to be prepared that, it could happen at any time. But yeah, she's been with us a long time, man.
Yeah, they're basically family members. I mean, same as dogs and any other animal you love for sure.
Yep.
We've always been animal people. Have you ever actually tried to sell any like animal like stuff online? Like I know that you can get dog outfits and like obviously I wouldn't be selling treats. Tried to sell. I know I've got in pallets and stuff like dog toys and like that type of thing, and I've always just donated them, but I've never purposely tried to buy dog stuff to sell.
I think that I have sold a couple of little like dog costumes. I'm trying to remember. I know that I picked something up one time. I just picked up like a tote. It was a free tote on Marketplace in like one of these giveaway groups kind of deal. And there was something in there that I wanted. I mean, this was like 3 years ago and I was still pretty new to reselling. And I don't remember exactly what it was that I got for myself, but I do remember there were a couple little dog costumes or outfits or something in there. And I'm pretty sure I did sell them on eBay, or maybe they even ended up being like one of my earlier sales on Poshmark when I joined there. I can't really remember, but I know there was something, but I've never tried to do it. I mean, did I make much money on it? I don't know, but
yeah, I just curious because I know people will spend absurd amount of money on their pets, right? Especially dog owners for sure. Outfits and bows and special shampoos and stuff, It's just, it seems like a good thing to get into, but I wouldn't know where to start either. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I know a little while ago, I don't know if they have any of them left, but I know Lonnie and Candace had Shed Flips. I mean, they had gotten a whole bunch of the dog, outfits and jackets and costumes and stuff. And I don't remember where they got it. It was a pretty big buy. I think they got a good enough price on it, that it made sense to do that. But, yeah, I mean, I really don't know. Is there a certain brand? Is there a certain, style? Or I don't know, man. I'm too busy trying to figure out women's clothing.
Yeah, I know. I've got too many things to figure out as well to be worried about that. I did want to talk to you about this one thing, and we kind of talked a little bit about it earlier, I guess, when Matt was here. But so when I was on the podcast, or not the podcast, but the Posh Sidekick interview with Michael, it went great. I was happy with how it turned out. But I seen somebody left a comment that said this guy should really just focus on selling on, I think, on one platform. And I'm like, I was just blown away. I think I just responded, why would I do that? And the guy never answered it, or the guy or the girl, I don't know. I didn't really look that close who it was. But I thought, like, what a silly mindset to be in. Like, if you put all your eggs into Poshmark or all your eggs into eBay or Etsy, I can tell you firsthand from Etsy, when they closed me down, if I wasn't on other platforms, that would have been it. You'd be starting square one again.
Yeah.
I think it's silly to only be on one platform unless you just want to be on eBay and you don't really care about any of the rest of it. But you have to know in the back of your mind, if your account gets shut down, not only are they probably going to IP ban you, all these platforms now require some sort of ID or your social insurance or security number. So it's not like you can just open a new one, because as soon as you start making sales, they're going to want all that stuff. And they're going to say, hey, we already kicked you off of here. Get out of here.
Exactly.
So you can't just stick to one. I just thought that was the most ridiculous thing somebody could have commented on that entire thing.
Yeah. It seems like a really strange opinion to share, because, I mean, it is just an opinion, obviously. It can't be based in anything because it's not actually a logical or good idea. Again, that's my opinion, I guess. But no, it seems like, I mean, I can just say from firsthand experience, there are certain things that are going to sell on certain platforms. Just they're going to do better there. Like, I'm going to sell more video game stuff on eBay than I am on Poshmark. I don't think people really go to Poshmark to look for video game stuff. I do, because I know it's there and, you can get some deals, but like that's not really the platform for it. Then again, if I want to buy, a winter jacket or something, I'm going to look on Poshmark first, because I'm only going to pay like $12.50 in shipping.
Yeah.
If I go to eBay, chances are, because I'm in rural Nova Scotia, I'm paying $25, $30, $35 in shipping. Like, so I don't know. There's so many reasons to be on different platforms, not only diversifying your opportunity, but also like, certain things just sell better in different places.
For sure.
And why myself?
Yeah. And what made me think about it is think what you mentioned, Lonnie and Candace there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of made me think about that. But I know they also sell. He sold only on eBay when I first started watching him for years.
Yep.
And then he kind of got nervous about eBay slowing down and his sales weren't as good as they used to be. And what do? You fill in those, you basically you fill in those holes with whatever you can. And now you see him, he's selling on Macari. He does sell on Poshmark. I see him do Etsy sales. I think now they're doing Facebook marketplace sales. You're gonna pick stuff up and sell it where you can sell it. So I don't know. It's hard to believe some people can be that close-minded, but I'd love to see people in the comments. If anybody who's got 40 minutes into this one and still around, I'd love to hear people. Do you only sell on one platform? And if so, why? Like, I can't imagine a reason only to sell on one.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be interested if there's anybody who is, what the reasoning is, or if they have any actual data to suggest that works for them, then great. But I feel like most people who do try to diversify will see a better spread of results.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think big time. I also got I'm complaining, I also got a neutral that I wasn't happy about. I'm always happy with a neutral because it's not a negative and it doesn't really hurt you. But I sold for parts and repair, Xbox 360 controller. And the person said, great condition, but the back latch doesn't quite work properly. I'm like, who cares? Who said it did or didn't? It's for parts and repair. Why would you have an opinion on that? You bought it for parts, unless you bought it for the back latch, which I'm pretty sure it worked anyway. I don't even know why they said that. I'm like, why would you complain about buying something for parts? Or if you wanted a certain part, wouldn't you say, hey, is the back hatch good? Because that's why I'm buying this. Right.
Yeah.
This is kind of made me shake my head. But I mean, I went like, how silly. And then I'm like, at least it's not a negative.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like one that I had before. It was the same deal. I sold them for parts or repair. It was a lot of N64 controller packs, like the memory cards. Yeah. And there's a lot of 10 of them. They were third party. They all did work technically in one of my controllers. So I had tested them out on a couple of them. I could get them all to work on my one specific controller, and they were all like saving data and stuff like that. But sometimes they would if they got bumped, maybe it would corrupt or wouldn't read in a certain controller or whatever. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to sell these as for parts of repair, but explain my successes and failures in the description.
Yeah.
Give them as much info as I possibly can. Well, the person left a neutral because same deal. It was like, look, I know you sold these as parts and repair, but you were saying all of these worked in the description. I was like, well, no. I was saying that I managed to get all of them to work in my one specific controller out of the 6 that I have. So I was actually explaining that there is in fact an issue with these, and I just ended up getting lucky with this one controller. So I don't know. It's like, you're really going to leave me a neutral on that? I mean, they didn't ask for a refund or anything. They didn't care. They just wanted to say that for some reason. It's just stupid.
Oh yeah, I've got another one that says something like, "Nice shirt, fast shipping." Neutral. I'm like, what? Okay. Do you not understand how this works? Same thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna rock the boat or ask why, or I'm just like, all right, whatever. But
shake your head and assume it's an older person maybe who doesn't know what they're doing.
I don't have an opinion on this. Neutral.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't positive. I'm just kind of here. So neutral.
I don't want anybody to get any ideas about me. I better just say
yeah. Yeah. I don't like you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay, I guess.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, thanks for popping by today and watching this, sticking it out with us and listening to our rambling and our nonsense and some of our laughter there. It was nice having Matt on the show today. So if you don't know, Matt is the co-creator of or maybe he's the sole creator of the Facebook group, the Canadian Resellers, Facebook group. So that's where I know him from, and obviously a little bit on YouTube here as well. But yeah, it was good chatting with him. And just let us know down below. Again, do you only sell on that one platform, or do you diversify like we do? Let us know, and we'll catch you in the next one.